On this computer. Yeah. So what we discussed in the previous class,
Power
Josie,
permissions.
do you understand? Huh?
Power permissions. Yeah.
Yes. So Linux disk partitions, right? So today we will discuss about the Linux disk partitions. So what is Linux disk partitions? Right. So yeah. So we installed where we installed the OS, Linux OS. So where we installed the Linux OS, guys. So we installed the OS. We need a hard disk space, right? Hard disk space to install the OS operating system, right? So that hard disk is nothing but a what is that hard disk? Hard disk, hard disk, right? H, we call it as a HDD, hard disk. Okay. So I will show you, yeah, Oracle VirtualBox. In the Oracle VirtualBox, right? This is the 20 GB hard disk. What is this? So the hard disk is SATA hard disk. We took the 20 GB hard disk to install the OS. Right. So for installing the CentOS 7 or CentOS 9 in this hard disk. Understood?
Yeah.
Yeah. So what is that? 20 GB of a hard disk we install. So 20 GB of a hard disk we took that under. So right. So where we can see the hard disk information. Where we can see the hard disk information in the Linux machine. So where we can see the hard disk information. So we can see the hard disk information by using command called as a df-ht. What is df? Df is nothing but a disk. So it will see the disk free, right? How you can check the which hard disks are available, which how many hard disks are available in our server. LSBLK. So LSBLK is nothing but a list of block devices. List of block devices. Okay, understood?
Yeah.
Yeah. In the Linux file system hierarchy. In the Linux file system, the Linux file system hierarchy, the hard disk information will be available under the which directory? Hard disk information will be available under the which directory? Guys, tell me which directory the hard disk information will be available. The hard disk information will be available under the which directory? Create a Yeah. So we already discussed it, right? That file system hierarchy. Linux file system.
Mhm.
What is that? The Linux file system hierarchy. So this is the one, the Linux file system hierarchy, right? Yeah. So the Linux file system hierarchy, this is the hierarchy, right? So now you understood this is the root directory. So where the hard disk information will be available under this? So the hard disk information will be available under this. So what is the device information? What is that, guys? So in the device information, the hard disk information will be available. The hard disk information will be available. So what are the hard disk? SATA disk. What is that? SATA disks, guys. So what are the SATA disks? These are the SATA disk. So for example, so this is the one. So this is the SATA hard disk. Understood?
Yeah.
Yeah. What this is? This is a SATA hard disk, right? So for example, this is one hard disk. 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 This one hard disk. So how many hard disks we have, guys? So this hard disk information will be available under which directory, guys? So the hard disk information will be available
Device
under. So which directory?
device
So
information.
slash dev directory. Slash dev directory. The hard disk information will be available under the slash dev directory, right? This hard disk information. I will show you Dell coverage. For example, our servers are Dell coverage servers. What is that? Dell coverage. Can take this Dell coverage. I will take one. You see? So this is the hard disk. How you are keeping the hard disk? Does he understood? So
Yeah.
these all are the hard disks. So in here, if you see, yeah, this is the hard disk. How they are keeping is they are keeping it in the hard disk. This is now you are understood, right? So this is the hard disk. Hard disk one, hard disk two, hard disk three, hard disk four, hard disk five, hard disk six, hard disk seven, hard disk eight, 9, 10, 11. So we can put 11 hard disks here. So we'll take a simple one, then you will understand. Mm, what is this? Hard disk. Yeah. So this having only how many this having? This having how many dosing?
For
Four hard disks. Very good. So this contains a four hard disks. Yeah. So now you understood, right? So we are keeping this, for example, this is the hard disk one. This is the hard disk two. This is the hard disk three. Okay. This is the hard disk three. And this is the hard disk four. How many hard disks we have? So we have four hard disks. Okay. Now you understood?
Yeah.
Yeah. So the hard disk, what hard disk these are? These are SATA disk. What is that? SATA hard disk. Understood?
Yeah.
SATA hard disk. So the name call it as a SATA hard disk. Right? I will tell you. So remember this word SATA disk. What is that? SATA disk. We call it as a SD. So SD is nothing but a SATA disk. So how many hard disks we have? So how
Four.
many hard disks we have? Four hard disks. What is that? SD, SD1, SD1, SD2, SD3, SD4. Right? So in SD1 we call it as a SDA, SDB, SDC, SDE. Right? So one is nothing but a, two is nothing but a, so physical hard disk one is nothing but a SDA. So physical hard disk two is nothing but a SDB. The physical hard disk three is nothing but a SDC. The physical hard disk four is nothing but a SDE. Right? Understood?
Yeah.
Is it? Yeah. These all are the, what is this? Consciousness. I this this is so now you understand. So what this is? This is a SDA, SDB, SDC. So where exactly? So the location of the where exactly location of the hard disk in the dev, right? Dev SDA slash dev SDB slash dev SDC slash dev SD.
E-
Understood?
Yeah.
Yeah. So the hard disk are SDA, SDB, SDC, SDE. Right. So now you understood. So the hard disk name. So for example, how many hard disks we have in our Linux machine? In our OS, how many hard disks we have? Only,
One.
only. Does he? How many
Yeah,
hard
just
disks we
one.
have? Only one hard disk, right? I
Yeah.
want to add another hard disk. How you can add it? So go to the settings, storage. Here, go to the control. You click here. You say add optical drive. Add a hard disk. In the add a hard disk. In the add hard disk. Add a hard disk image file. Create a disk image. Okay. So what is that? So this supports only a virtual box disk image. Next. Next. So how much I'm taking? I'm taking a 20 GB of it. So
GB.
20
Yeah.
GB. I want to take it in the, okay, we have a C drive. Yeah, I'm taking in the C drive. So then finish. Okay. Now how many hard disks we have in the server? So in the
So
server we have a CentOS 7.1 CentOS. So this is 20 GB, 20 GB. Okay. Now you can, yeah, now you can choose this 20. Okay. Yeah. Now, how many hard disks we had? So two hard disks we had. So let's see in the server. Start the server. Yeah, it is starting the server. Yeah, login message. Ready. Space. Okay, 192.160.0.107. We'll connect 107. Connecting to the server. The key is session. I'm taking 192.168.56.0.107. Open, accept, root, red hat, change settings, appearance, change settings, 20, 18, bold, okay, apply. Yeah. Now you're able to see, right? Yeah. So what is the command? df-ht. So it will see the disk information, disk free. So how much GB of that you attached? First 20 GB, right? So 17 GB is attached to the slash directory. So what is this? So this is the hard disk space. That hard disk space 17 GB is attached to the directory slash boot to we attach it, right? So this is the type of the Linux first I will tell you. So size, used, available, percentage, mounted. So which space, which hard disk space it is mounted to which directory. Okay. So if you want to see the df-ht. So what we will see? So we will see only the SDA slash the SDA hard disk. We are showing only one hard disk, but we added another new hard disk also. We added the new hard disk also. This one is not showing. SATA hard disk. So SATA means SATA hard disk. Two means B. SDB. So, but SDB is showing here. No, SDB is not showing because of df-ht is showing only which hard disk space is mounted to which directory. Then only it will see it in the df-ht. But if you want to see the raw hard disk information also, what is the command? lsblk. lsblk is the command to list of block devices. What are the block devices we have? So we will list it the block devices. What is that? SDA added with the 20 GB. SDB is added with the 20 GB. Okay. So how you can see the list of block devices, list of hard disk by using lsblk command.
Okay.
Understood, does it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So right. Now I want to, yeah, I will tell you one thing here. Okay. Yeah. So whatever the hard disk, right? So whatever the hard disk so for example, this is the hard disk. So this hard disk contains, so what is the naming convention? As the SDA. So this is SDA. The same way. So we created another hard disk. The hard disk is slash dev SDB. What is that? Slash dev SDB. So we have a 20 GB hard disk. What is that? So 20 GB hard disk. Okay. So this is showing, this hard disk information is showing here, showing by using df-ht command. But this information is not showing. So use the df-ht command. But I want to see the all the hard disk information by using the command lsblk. What is that? lsblk is the command. to check the, guys, what is that? Check the hard disk information. To check the hard disk information, you can use the BSDLT. So why this is showing in DFF and HT? So because of this hard disk is attached to directories. So these hard disks are attached to directories. For example, slash is 17 GB, 17 or 18 or 17 GB is attached to this, and the next one is slash boot. So the remaining 3 GB is attached to slash boot. Guys, understood? So why it is showing because of DF5 and HT? So it is attached to a directory.
Okay.
It is, that's why it is showing in the DF5 and HT command. It is showing in the DF5 and HT command. Guys, understood?
Yeah.
Yeah. So why this is not showing? So this is not showing why, I will tell. So, so for example, this is the hard disk. What this is, guys? So this is a hard disk. So new hard disk. So when we buy the new hard disk, so for example, the by default you will get the which file system. So which file system you get? The null file system. So because of this hard disk may be used for the Windows, or may be used for the Linux, or may be used for the Mac, right? So or may be used for the Windows, or may be used for the Mac, or may be used for the Linux, right? So yeah. So if you want to Windows or else something like this is a Linux. So if you want to use this hard disk as a Linux, so Linux knows only ext2, ext3, ext4 or xfs. What is the file system knows? So the Linux knows only ext2, ext3, ext4 and xfs file system. So which file system? So ext4, ext3, ext4 file system, and Windows knows only NTFS file system. Which file system? NTFS file system. So NTFS ext2, but the hard disk is null, right? So Mac is using something, some other. So Mac is using some other file system, right? So Windows, Linux is using ext2, ext3, ext4, xfs. So Windows using NTFS, right? So this file system is in null format. So if you want to use this in the Linux server, so we need to convert from null to, guys. So we need to convert from null to ext4 or
XD.
ext3. Understood? So
Yeah.
if you want to use this in the Linux machine, you want to convert from null to NTFS.
And
So how you can convert? This is still not yet converted. This is the raw hard disk. This raw hard disk is in the null format. Understood? And so this df-ht command will shows the which space is mounted to which directory. Still, this is not mounted to any directory. So that is the reason it is not showing in the df-ht command. Okay. So if you want to use this directory, so we need to convert from null to ext4, ext3 or xfs or xfs files. mkfs. What is the command? mkfs dot xfs, the file system slash dev sdb. Right. So slash dev sdb. If you want to convert from null to, if you want to convert from null to,
EX and CFS.
yes. So if you want to convert from null to MXFS, how to convert MKFS, make file system FS slash the SDB. Okay, so yeah, so now you understood. So what is this? So this is the hard disk. What is the hard disk? The hard disk name is, tell me, what is the hard disk name?
The dev SDA.
SDB, new one.
Oh, oh, we're converting the
Okay,
SDA. Okay.
so this is how much GB? This is a at
20.
20 GB. Okay, so how
Yeah.
much GB this is? This
20
is
GB.
20 GB. This 20 GB. So this space. So hard disk space need to attach, need to mount it to directory. So mount it to directory. So when we can use this hard disk space, so when we can use this hard disk space, so whenever you mount it to the directory, then only we can use it, right? So we can create a mount point or a directory. We can attach it to the directory. Which directory? For example, app logs. What is that? App logs is my directory, and VBA logs. Right. I don't want 20 GB to app logs. I don't want 20 GB to. I don't want 20. One second. So I don't want to use 20 GB to the directly app logs. I want to use 20 GB to the DBA logs. I want to attach 10 GB space to the DBA logs. I want to attach 10 GB to the app logs. Right? How you can do it? But the space is 20 GB. What is that? The space is 20
20
GB.
GB.
Yeah. What we can do? We can. So what we can do? Yeah. One second. Yeah. So this 20 GB, I want to create a two. These are the two directories. You know, right? How to create the directory? mkdir
Yeah.
slash app logs. Yeah. I created a directory. So this is also I created directory. mkdir slash dba logs. I want to attach 10 GB to the DBA logs. I want to attach 10 GB to the app logs. So, right. So, for that purpose, we need to create the partitions, right? We need to create a two partitions, 10 GB, then we can attach them. So, how you can create the partitions? So, we can create the partitions like this is one, and this is other. So, right. How you can create the partitions? You can create the partitions like slash dev SDB1. I want to give 10 GB to SDB1. Okay. Other than, so I will create a slash dev SDB2. That SDB2 will create a 10 GB.
GB.
Okay. Then I will attach, okay. Then I will attach this 10 GB to app logs. What is that? App logs, and this 10 GB to
DBA logs.
DBLs. Now you understood? So how
Yeah.
you can attach it? First, so we need to, so this is the raw hard disk, right? We need to convert it to MK. fs dot xfs to /dev sdb1. So first we need to convert it from SDB, same like, so because of raw hard disk contains mkfs dot xfs /dev sdb2, right? We converted. So how you can mount it to this one? So we can use the mount command. Mount /dev sdb1 to upload. Okay, /dev mount /dev sdb2 to /dba logs. Have you understood,
Yes.
Lucy? So I have a doubt here. So after partition SDA, SDB, so we can convert from null to XFS. But how you can create the partitions? How you can create the partitions? By using which command? fdisk. What is the command? fdisk is
Okay.
nothing but a format disk. So I want to format the /dev SDB, right? I want to format the /dev SDBD. So fdisk /dev SDB. So this is the way we can use. So how you can list the disk information? fdisk -l /dev SDB. fdisk -l /dev SDC. Okay. So these all are the ways to, so how you can partition, you need to partition the disk partition. What is that, guys? So what is the topic? The topic is disk
Disk
partition.
partition.
How you can create the partition? Disk part
Partition.
disk partition, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So disk partition, now you understood? Yeah, you will slowly understood how you can create the partition. So by using fdisk command, we can create the partition. Okay, very good. So how you can list the devices, how you can list the hard disk, lsblk, or else cd where cd dev, right? The cd dev, you see how many hard disks we have? SDA, SDB. Understood? The disk information will be available under the /dev, right? Does
Yeah.
it?
Yeah, I'm here.
Very good. You see now you interesting, right? So lsblk, yeah, got it. SDB is 20 GB. So you see here. So that every hard disk, every partition is so attached to a directory. Slash is directory, /boot is directory. Now, how you can format the disk? fdisk /dev SDB. Which one is newly created? SDB, right? Command M for help. Yeah. So I pressed M. So what is that? I want to create a new partition, add a new partition. So print the partition table, quit without saving the changes. So write the table to the disk. Okay. Write the table to the disk. D, delete the partition. D is nothing but a delete the partition. I want to create the partition. Okay. So what is the create a partition? Add a partition. So hyphen press N. Yeah. This ask primary and secondary. You can use a primary. Okay. P. We can create the 4 partitions freely. So first partition. First sector you can leave it. The last sector. So you see, sorry. So in the last sector, plus size. You can provide the plus size. How much GB? 10. So you see KB, MB or GB. I want to create a partition SDB1 with 10 GB. Okay, see partition type of Linux and the size 10 GB is set. I want to write and quit. What is that? Write the table to and quit. So quit. You see? So again lsblk. You see, SDB1 is created with 10 GB. So remaining 10 GB, we have a remaining 10 GB. Fdisk slash SDB. Again, I want to create another partition. M for elf. What is that? M for elf. N is for new. P is for pin. So 2 for sector. Second sector 10 GB. So 10 GB. So value out of range, the default value. So just you can leave it. Okay, press enter. It will take the 10 GB to set. So W2, write the disk. Okay, lsblk. So how many created partitions? Two partitions created with 10 GB, 10 GB.
Yeah, 10 GB.
Okay,
Yeah.
understood.
Yeah.
I want to print the table. So let's see printing. So P is nothing but a print. You see, SDB1, SDB2 is created with the 10 GB. Yeah. So now you understood. I want to, yeah. So now I created the 10 GB partitions. So still it is in null state. So how you can, Linux knows only XFS, right? XFS ext. How we can convert from null to this? We can convert from null to this. So without converting, I will mount to the app logs and dbls. So we need to create the two directories. mkdir app logs, mkdir dbl logs. Okay, df hyphen, sorry, mount to, what is that?
Yeah.
Mount to slash the sdb1 app logs. So the
Logs.
space 10 GB space slash the sdb1 is attached to app logs. You see, guys. So mount to slash dev sdb1 is write protected, mounting read only. The unknown file system type equal to null. What is the file system type, guys? Default file system type.
No.
So what is the default file system type?
No.
Null. So if you want to use it in the Linux machine, so definitely we need to convert it to ext2, ext3, xfs, right? So I am converting xfs. How you can convert? mkfs.xfs slash dev sdb1. mkfs dot XFS. I'm converting, making file system as a from null to XFS. On which file system slash the which partition SDB1. Okay, it is set. Let's try to mount. You see, so it is mounted because of now this hard disk knows the Linux is mounted to this one. Okay, the same like as a I will PB2 also. I will mount it to DBA logs as DB2. Okay. DF500HT. Okay. So what is that, guys? So you see, so this before it is not showing. Before you see, before it is not showing the app logs and DBA logs SDB. Right. Now you see, so it is showing. Now it is
Logs.
showing by using DF-HT. Understood? Does it?
Yeah.
Yep, right. Yeah. So now you can use this, you can copy the data up to 10 GB. You can use the data, you can copy the data to, so up to 10 GB. So whatever the DOS hard disk is attached to the directory. Okay. Attached to the directory. So mounting will be two types. So mounting will be two types. So we'll discuss tomorrow. Hmm?
Okay.
Okay.
All right. That's fine.
Okay. So yeah, one second.